Hello everyone. Today I will tell you a story. The story is titled, Tama and the Evening That Moved Very Slowly. Please like and subscribe to my channel if you appreciate me. You can skip this if you don't and like this video. Thank you very much. The story begins as follows. Evenings in our house usually arrive quietly, like a polite guest who doesn't want to interrupt. But that evening, the evening Tama noticed, seemed to stretch itself longer than usual. It slipped through the windows, settled on the floor, and decided to stay. Tama knew something was different the moment the sunlight stopped touching the sofa. He was lying there, belly up, paws loose, eyes half closed in that thoughtful way dogs sometimes have, as if they're considering very serious questions, like why the fan hums or where socks disappear to. When the room grew dimmer, Tama lifted his head slowly, as if time itself had suddenly become heavy. Normally, evenings meant routine. Dinner smells, a quick walk, a bowl filled with food and expectations. But this evening felt unhurried. The TV was off. The phone stayed face down on the table, and I was sitting on the floor, leaning against the couch, doing absolutely nothing. Tama noticed this immediately. He stood up, stretched each leg with careful drama, and walked over. Not rushed, not playful, just curious. His nails made soft clicking sounds on the tiles, slow clicks, like punctuation marks in a sentence that didn't want to end. He sat beside me and leaned his body gently against my arm. Tama didn't look at my face right away. Instead, he looked at the room, the lamp that wasn't turned on yet, the window that reflected both of us faintly, the quiet that felt thicker than usual. Dogs are experts at noticing changes humans ignore. Tama could tell this evening was not meant for doing, but for being. I scratched behind his ears. He sighed, the deep, satisfied sigh that always sounded like relief. Outside, a motorbike passed by. Somewhere, a neighbor laughed. But inside our small space, time slowed down enough for Tama to feel it. He rested his chin on my knee. And that's when the evening truly began to move slowly. As the sky turned from blue to deep gray, Tama followed every little change with great interest. He watched shadows crawl across the wall. He observed dust floating in the air like tiny, invisible dreams. When I shifted slightly, he adjusted his position too, making sure we stayed connected. We didn't talk, of course, but Tama communicated anyway. When I stood up to make tea, he followed. Not because he was hungry, but because he believed movement should be shared. When I stopped, he stopped. When I turned around, he almost bumped into me, tail wagging apologetically, as if to say, "Sorry, I didn't mean to be so close, but also, I did." The kettle boiled. Tama sat patiently, ears relaxed, eyes soft. The warmth of the kitchen wrapped around us, and the evening continued to stretch, slow and gentle, like it had nowhere else to be. Later, we returned to the living room. I sat on the couch this time, and Tama climbed up beside me, an action he always performed with great care, as if asking permission without words. He curled into a warm, living Tama against my side. His breathing became steady. Inhale. Exhale. Each breath seemed to pull the evening into a quieter rhythm. I noticed how his fur caught the lamplight when I finally turned it on. Soft, slightly messy, imperfect in a way that felt real. Tama shifted in his sleep and let out a tiny sound, something between a sigh and a dream. I wondered what he dreamed about. Running? Treats? Or maybe moments like this, quiet ones, where nothing exciting happens, yet everything feels complete. As humans, we often measure time by productivity. Dogs measure it by presence. Tama didn't care how long the evening lasted. He cared that we were in it together. And in that shared stillness, I felt something loosen inside me. That evening with Tama reminded me of something important. Not every moment needs to be filled, fixed, or improved. Some moments are meant to be lived slowly, side by side, without expectations. In today's fast-paced world, we rush through evenings the same way we rush through mornings, thinking about tomorrow, scrolling endlessly, forgetting to rest emotionally. Tama didn't know about deadlines or notifications, but he understood something deeper. Connection happens when we allow time to slow down. Animals like Tama teach us patience without lectures, loyalty without conditions, and presence without effort. He didn't ask me to change my life. He simply stayed close, and in doing so, invited me to breathe, to notice, to feel safe in stillness. From Tama, we can learn to value small routines, to listen more than we speak, and to show care through simple actions, sitting beside someone, waiting quietly, offering warmth. These lessons apply not only to our relationships with animals, but also with other people. If we treat animals with kindness, respect their emotions, and share our time honestly with them, they give us something priceless in return: emotional grounding. In a world that moves too fast, maybe the greatest wisdom is learning, like Tama, how to let an evening pass slowly, and how to be fully present while it does.